Probably should have started this at something funny. I almost forgot to stop.
Hey,
Beep, 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 beep.
just waiting for us to show up in all the places where we show up. It looks like we already got Charles and
It's
Dom already here.
Charles and Dom. Look at that. Hi,
My
everybody.
my Facebook is apparently not as excited about that because it has not told me that
No,
we're here yet. But
I will
hey, there
say
we go.
hello to everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Eagles Monday Night Football Monday night. Since the Eagles are playing in approximately 15 minutes from when we start our show, we're going to overlap with them a little bit. So
That's okay.
that's fine. But we appreciate everybody stopping out. Dom doesn't like the background as a Giants fan. That's okay. For those of you that are not watching us on the YouTubes or the Facebooks, it's the Eagle Stadium with fireworks shooting off because it is Philadelphia. Dom, you must also hate my shirt.
I mean, look, I was kind and wore the hat to support
as
the hometown
as a
team
Ravens,
instead of the other
as a
team.
Ravens fan, I appreciate you wearing the hat. I do. That's a solidarity. Unfortunately, I don't have anything Ravens, so I can't.
It's my hat for when I go to the gym because I don't mind it getting all messed up because
That's
the Eagles.
kind of fair. That's okay. Just deflated the hell out of me, but that's cool.
That's what I do.
How are
Hey,
you?
your team hasn't lost yet this week, so you're in a much better spot than mine.
My fantasy football team is a disaster, but we'll talk about that in a minute. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Busy. Had the wife's birthday last week, so didn't do any gigs. Just spent some family time, watched some family movie night, some other good stuff. Oh, we only have Danny for a few minutes though.
Look, I understand
Danny,
it.
join in the chat. Look at
Honestly, I think if we didn't have the big Ahsoka thing to talk about, we'd probably just postpone it a couple days.
that. It's fine. I think you're watching a different Ahsoka than I am, so one of us is super excited about it.
But you were saying as your week end.
Yeah, so no, I no gigs, but I'm back this week with Tony's over in Ivyland, which is a great spot. So it's 9 to 12 on Saturday night. And anybody local can always stop out there. But yeah, finally caught the Barbie movie.
Nice.
Watched Kelsey
Yes.
last night. Finally saw that.
Check.
Yeah. Look, did you watch something?
I actually did.
Wow. All right. Well, how about you, man? What have you been up to?
Flying space whales. I have not been up to a lot. It was a very lazy weekend. I did watch the Indiana Jones movie, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and about the 2.5 hours of my life that's gone forever. If that's any indication of how I like the movie.
I feel like you probably loved it because I felt like it was a prequel to Ahsoka.
Look, you and I are very much on opposite sides of the fence lately on a lot of different things. I think we're going to align pretty well on this movie.
Okay.
But no, nothing really for me. I went out a little bit Saturday night, just hung at a friend's house. Nothing big. You know, they did a lot of shots. I sipped a beer and shot some darts in the corner.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah, I won, so that's all that matters.
Very nice. Let's hop right in. We won't waste time with with more about our weeks. We'll hop
nice
for what the people came for.
The big news is the WGA and the AMPTP have reached a tentative agreement to end the strike.
They still need to vote.
They do need to vote and ratify it, but right now everybody's starting to make tentative plans. Stuff's going to start shooting in maybe October and movies back to January. I'm really happy about it. The late night talk shows are amping up to probably get their show started as early as the first week of October, which is about a week away, really. So that's good for them. Um, the movies, it's going to take a little longer to ramp things up, but they want to proceed slowly until it's officially ratified, so that they don't they don't Drew Barrymore it up. Is that a thing?
Well, Bill Maher it,
All right.
whichever way you want to go.
Yep. Um, I Danny's Danny's typoing like crazy in the chat because he's angry at your Ahsoka takes.
It's amazing.
Danny, please come back and listen to the Ahsoka part of this later on or tomorrow on your way to work and get even more angry, and then come back next Monday and we'll talk about it. Okay? Oh, a Go Bucks raid.
Oh, just for you.
I mean,
Just for you.
thanks,
Well,
Dom.
look,
but-
I
Ooh.
feel like he's from Florida, is my
Oh,
guess.
he's gonna send a whole bunch of Go Bucks people in here just to be fun. So
It's all right.
there's
They've said go Bucks before and they've lost before. It's fine.
it's fine. That's fine. Tom Brady's not there anymore. They don't have anything worth doing. But
Yeah,
it looks like
they're not the Florida team to worry about. It's not a big deal.
yeah, it looks like the deal seems to be really, really, really positive. And the WGA, etc., are really excited about this deal. So there's no details about it yet. Thank you, Dom, for sending the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't think until it goes to a vote we'll start to see the details
Yeah.
on it. But look, if they agreed to it, this was really the last one that they were bringing in. So
Right.
we'll see where that falls, and then we'll see what happens with SAG in the coming weeks once WGA either decides to or not to ratify this agreement. So
Yeah.
good
And
news there finally after 147
46.
days,
46.
146. It's close.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live's going to look to return next month, and their casting is still to be determined. And it looks like they're going to lean into non-acting hosts at first.
Okay.
So, oh, look at that. See, Dom sent a Panthers fan to promote the Bucks. That's awful. It's awful.
Look, he's got Andy Dalton. He's got to do what he can.
He does. So there's a cancellation here. We'll go into. There's a quick thing. Stars has canceled a couple things.
Oh, I didn't know Stars had things still. What'd they cancel?
Yeah. So they canceled a show called Run the World and Blind Spotting due to lack of viewership. Oh, and Heels got canceled after apparently a season 2 cliffhanger that we'll never know the end of what happened now.
Oh no, I was so excited for that show. Oh, I guess that's what Stephen Amell was on talking about on his Instagram live yesterday that I
Probably.
tried to watch and stopped.
I just didn't care I don't care about it. I never got past season 1, episode like 4 of Heels. I just kind of trailed off on it. I figured I'd go back and watch it. Now I have so much time. Expendable 4.
Okay.
Brought in 8.3 million in its opening weekend.
Oh, that came out?
Oh yeah, apparently.
Oh, well, I missed that. That. Yeah.
It came in just behind The Nun 2, which is in its 3rd weekend.
Which I heard is great.
Right. No movie has managed to hit the top 10, has managed to top 10 million this weekend, making it the worst box office frame of the year.
It's fair. Was there anything that was supposed to be out this? I don't even think there was anything that was supposed to be out that got pushed, right?
No, it says a number of factors have contributed to the Expendables 4's poor performance, including a lack of recognizable action stars, scathing reviews, and general franchise disinterest from audiences after the poorly received 3rd entry.
I literally knew it was coming out, but I had no idea it came out this weekend. I feel like that's probably more people than just me.
All I know,
because I don't even think there was real ads on yesterday for it during football.
I know Stallone was in it.
Yes.
Statham was in it.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think Randy Couture was probably back, and I'm sure Dolph was in it.
I'm sure. Yes, please, everybody that came by, even though you said Bucks, thanks to Dom, please hit the like button. We love you anyway, and we appreciate the support from a Giants fan. But saying that, the Giants did beat Arizona, who Dallas lost to. So that's something, right?
It is. Anybody that Dallas loses to is okay in my book.
And I am in my work fantasy league being destroyed. Tyreek Hill ripped me a new one.
I did not play Tyreek. I left. I think we looked. I had left at least one player with 69 points on my bench.
Yeah, that's weird.
69 points in honor of how many yards Travis Kelce had when he got Taylor Swift to come to his game.
That was fun. That was a fun. Bye, Danny. Thank you for showing up. That
Look,
was fun.
there's full ESPN has highlight reels of Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game that they have put out today. It's amazing.
Bill Belichick said Travis Kelce has made some big catches in his career. This is obviously the biggest. Bill Belichick got in on it. Look, there was a Facebook thread last night that Ange, our friend Ange, started that was the highlight of my evening. With how many people trashed Taylor Swift.
I saw that.
It was wonderful.
I don't know why.
Wonderful.
She's fine. She's a megastar from what I hear.
Well, she's supposed to be an Eagles fan, but I'll tell you what, Reading is not, shockingly, in Philadelphia. So she's not a hometown girl.
Well, I will say she did not wear a Chiefs jersey.
No, she just wore red. Or I think she had a Chiefs jacket and she just tied it around her waist.
She had a red jacket. That was all.
Mm.
I mean, look. So, and let's hit Kelce real quick since we both watched it. There's no spoilers,
No,
right?
no.
So there's no way to spoil it. We all know what happened to the Super Bowl last year, and we all know Jason Kelce's playing again this year.
Yes, he is.
So you get to see his wife throughout, and even say, look, if Jason got traded to another team, I could never wear one of their jerseys. She's like, I would wear something that said Kelce.
Right.
And she's like, even when we went to the Super Bowl that Travis was in before, when they weren't playing the Eagles, she's like, I didn't wear Chiefs stuff. He's like, I'm a hometown Philly. I can't do it.
Love it. Love everything about it. His wife came off awesome in that.
She did. And my wife felt seen from the how do you deal with the kids while dad's recording a podcast.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Section when she's out there trying to, I just want to sing. You can't sing right now. I just want to dance. Oh, well, okay.
I wanted to ask you about that because we've definitely had a guest pop in on your end quite a few times over the episodes.
Yeah. Wyatt's been on New Heights quite a few times too. So she pops in every once in a while on that show. But Kelce, even if you're not an Eagles fan, it's just great football story, great story about the love for a sports team from a community and what a lot of these icons and legends go through when they leave the league and what they do on the way to get there. And it's really well done. I enjoyed it a lot.
I had a couple of tear moments. It did punch in the gut a few times. I love the fact that he met his wife on Tinder and fell asleep drunk on their first date. It still managed to get the second date. Just the whole story from the both of them is great. And I don't listen to their podcast regularly, but I have listened to some episodes and they're fantastic together.
Yeah, I will solve a mystery if you don't listen to New Heights. That's left as a cliffhanger from the movie because they didn't go back to it.
Wow.
They did find his Super Bowl ring. It was in the glove box of the car.
That's freaking amazing. That's amazing.
I thought you would like that. I believe it was the glove box of their Tesla, if I remember right.
Oh, of course. Oh, he deserves it. I don't have a ton tonight. I figured we would just kind of do a short show with the football game starting and everything like that. There is a reboot of The Office gonna happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
which office?
Greg Daniels is set to return. There's no information on casting, but it looks like they're gonna do a reboot.
Okay.
So BJ Novak, who played Ryan Howard on the show, not that Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
He was a writer, producer, and director. And he said he expressed reluctance when it comes to revival, stressing that any revival of The Office would have to be approached as an artistic decision rather than one that's taken purely for potential financial gain. Um, I'm hesitant because it's a show that I could, if I'm not doing anything and we know I don't watch a lot of stuff that I'm supposed to watch, but if I'm sitting there bored and I'm just like waiting for dinner or something, I'll pop it on. It's on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on the Comedy Channel from 6 to 11 every night.
Yeah.
And then, wow, did I rattle that off fast. And then Wednesdays it's on like Cozy or something. It's
Okay.
but they play it in its entirety, except Comedy Central does not play Diversity Day ever.
Yeah.
They
Well,
skip
and look, there's 3 or 4 Always Sunny that aren't even streaming.
right. And then there's
Similar
one
reasons.
episode later in the seasons where Nate from the warehouse comes up in blackface and they kind of just take that part out, which
Mhm.
obviously. But I don't know how I feel about a revival. I would have to see how they handle it. I mean,
So, yeah, so based on that, it's only been what, 10 years maybe?
I think so.
So, look, you have to miss something to want it to come back. So, I don't think anybody misses The Office yet.
Well, I mean,
We did miss Indiana Jones for a little while, and thank God that came back with Dial of Destiny, though.
we're gonna talk about that in a second. Okay, look, let's just go there now because I have nothing else aside from the stuff that you saw. So let's just get this Indiana Jones shit out of the way. We needed this movie 15 years ago, is what we needed. I'm sorry, we needed a movie 15 years ago, is what we needed. I love Harrison Ford.
We
I
got
love
Crystal
the
Skull
Indiana.
15 years ago.
Huh?
We got Crystal Skull 15 years ago.
Right. I love the Indiana Jones character. I did not love watching that man try to run in this movie. I did not love the fact that he used his whip once the entire movie.
To go up against all the new guns that apparently they didn't have in World War II that now they have in
I
the
look,
Korean War era.
there were so many issues with that movie. The CGI was great.
What
Uh,
about the de-aging?
that's what I mean. The de-aging was great.
Okay.
They got that right. Explaining where Mutt was, great.
Or
Uh,
or wasn't.
well, technically wasn't. Yeah. Um, the little callback at the end of the movie. Now, if you didn't see it, tough shit. I'm spoiling it anyway. The
But did
little
we ever get established did we ever get established that Mutt was his kid official, though?
yes, in the last movie.
I don't think they ever said it official. I think it was just
Maybe
implied.
maybe it was more implied, but the callback at the end where she's like, "It doesn't hurt here, it doesn't hurt
Yeah.
here," like that was cool. That was a cool moment. Phoebe Waller-Bridges was great,
Yeah.
and Antonio Banderas was great.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't so weirdly utilized.
Yeah. Um, and Mads Mikkelsen was okay.
Wasted.
Yeah, wasted.
You got no real motivation for like why Mads Mikkelsen acted the way his character was set up for in the movie. And
No.
like how do you have that character and you give him the hit he takes in the beginning during the flashback, right?
Yeah.
And have him come back and be completely normal.
I don't get that at all. He took that thing right in the face.
Yeah, and he's fine. Like a little dimple out of it.
Right.
Um
And Indiana has a scar from a freaking whip from 57,000 years ago.
Yeah, I thought the de-aging part I thought was it made me feel like an Indiana Jones movie. Like I felt like, oh, this is a movie that could have come out 40 years ago, and I wish it had
Right.
instead of last year because I didn't need it. Again, I was like, this feels dated and not in a way where like, oh wow, I really wish this was part of the series. I was like, okay, it's just another in it, but I could go watch the old Indiana Jones movies and get that. So
Right.
you didn't give me anything new.
No.
And then it went all in on the Dial of Destiny, which I was excited for the Spear of Destiny. That's actually a fascinating relic.
Right.
And instead, I don't know if they made it up or how they got this one. I'm sure there's plenty of parts made up as there are for all the Indiana Jones movies. But
It was there was so much filler and setup to get to the part where he's actually going and finding the item that he found the item so fast. Like, there was, like,
Yeah.
one puzzle to solve, as opposed to the beginning of Indiana Jones, there's, like, a couple of puzzles that he solves. Like, that was the stuff that people wanted to
Yeah,
see.
and there wasn't like I have to know both see what's going on in the room and I have to know history. It was
Right,
just like, oh, there he wrote down once that he loves water. Oh,
right,
okay. Well, that's great.
right.
Um,
And it didn't the going back in time thing was weird, and it didn't make any sense because what they did back in time would ruin history in so many ways.
you mean like the shell of an airplane that they would have found when they excavated all these
The shell of an
places?
airplane, the bullets, the shell casings of the bullets, like, there's
Yeah.
so much wrong with that.
Yeah, the guns, the uniforms that wouldn't have necessarily
Oh my
disintegrated because we
god.
still find Roman stuff like the Nazi medals and things that would have been around. Stuff.
And
Yeah,
I the only thing I liked was that Archimedes created the dial to go to that specific point in time, so they can't use it to go traipsing around time like Deadpool.
yeah, or like Indy wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, or I don't even remember Mads Mikkelsen's character now, but
Neither and I watched it yesterday.
yeah, it was not it showed the period that it was reflecting when it came out, and that it was like it was a double nostalgia which didn't work, and
No.
they tried to bring modern sensibilities into something you're nostalgia for, which usually hurts the product because you're nostalgic for the way that it was,
Yep.
not the way it could be now.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I never really, as much as I liked Phoebe Walling for Walling, her Fleabag, um, I
Wanda.
never, I never liked her. Like I liked her performance,
Mhm.
but I never liked the character enough to want to root for her,
Nope.
and I would never want to root for her in her own movie.
Nope. Please don't
Um,
make a movie with her.
and then we had to add a child in just because we felt we needed a child, like a short
Well,
round,
that's
for
that's
some reason,
that was exactly what I thought when I saw the kid. I went, "Oh, there's short round."
right? For no reason.
None.
Um,
Who knew how to fly a plane?
it would have been way better to, well, right, but we got the one setup scene where he's fake flying a plane in the casino and
Right.
learning how to do it, and then it comes in handy. Yeah,
Oh,
it was not great.
I could
I
fly a
understand
plane.
why it tanked at the box office, and hopefully Hollywood through this writer strike now has realized like the reason stuff is tanking at the box office is because you're putting out crappy movies.
Yep. It was
Um,
hor it was so not good.
which brings me to Barbie real
Yes.
quick, which is the first movie I've seen probably since Endgame that I want to watch again. Like
Okay.
I would watch it multiple times. There's so many cool little Easter eggs and fun facts and nods and fantastic performances hidden in the Barbie movie. I completely understand why it was the biggest movie of the year and one of the biggest movies ever. It was from start to finish. It was great. It set you up for this like air of disbelief, and then it just rolled with it. And your girl, your new favorite, young Ahsoka, Ariana Greenblatt, is in
Yep.
it,
I
and
mean,
so was every other Marvel and DC and Doctor Who character and person ever.
really.
Yeah, I mean, you get, um, obviously Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are there, right? You also get Simu Lee.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I okay, so I
You
knew
get
who.
him. He is a Ken in there. You also get Nudie Gatwa, who is the new Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
You also get some, and look, the movie's been out for a few months. It's streaming now. Um, y- I'm, you can also just look on IMDb and look up the movie, and you'll see these same names. But like you get John Cena, so you get another.
I heard how his cameo came about, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, his cameo is great. You get who's the other one in there? You get Alexandra Shipp is in it, who was Storm in X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
You get Dua Lipa's in it. You got Kingsley Benadir, who was Gravik
Okay, yep,
in
okay, I
Secret
know.
Invasion. You get no, Michael Cera's not has not been in any of our
No.
movies yet.
And he was good in Marvel.
I think you get, let's see, anybody else? No, that's, you get Will Ferrell. playing Lord Business, but totally not playing Lord Business, which was great.
Right.
The twist they took with that character versus the easy way out they could have gone was fantastic.
I
Um, but
I
yeah, that was family movie night. We all loved it, and like I said, it's one of the first movies I would watch. I'm excited to watch another time versus all the other crap from the last 3 years.
I definitely will watch that movie at some point. Like, that's on my radar to actually really watch. I got through Indiana Jones because I promised you, and I thought I would enjoy it. I thought, you know what? I could tell he didn't really like it, so we're usually on opposite sides of the fence with stuff, which we are definitely on about something else that we're gonna talk about in a minute or two when you, unless you have any other, fun stuff.
Well, look, so I know you're still a big fan of the Apocalypse and the Walking Dead stuff, but anybody that's not watching Daryl Dixon should go watch Daryl Dixon. It's fantastic. Other than the fact that every episode they have to find a reason why the people that he meets speak English and not French, which is every time he meets somebody, they have to set that up in the first 10 seconds of the encounter,
Right.
which is hilarious.
Right.
Um, but it's great. It's another 6 episode series, so it's like super tight storytelling. It's not let's take a 10 episode story and stretch it out to 22 or 16. It is the story moves, you get a lot of background, you get a lot of great storytelling. It's another view of the apocalypse. It's very Last of Us-ish this season. I'll give it that because there is a young character that's being brought along on this. But it's great. I know last week you said you hadn't watched Wheel of Time yet. And I had, and then I watched this week's Wheel of Time. So where are you at with that show, which you have such a rich history of the books with before we close it out today?
I made a point the last time we talked about this in telling you how I was putting aside the books to watch the show as the show. And they introduced a character in episode 5 that I was so excited for because this character is one of the best characters in the books, Avienda, the Aiel that was in the cage.
Okay.
Okay. That didn't happen. That didn't happen like that. That's not supposed to be that character. It's supposed to be another character that becomes really close. It's a male character that becomes really close with Perrin and assists Perrin in Perrin's journeys the rest of the books. Because Perrin goes off on his own in the books and does a whole like epic, awesome thing for himself.
Okay.
Okay. That's not how she was introduced. And that turned me off from watching episode 6, which you said was a really great episode. And I think there's only 2 left or 10.
I think it's 10.
10.
I will. Episode 6 was probably one of my favorite episodes of television, like this year.
I will watch that this week, but whatever you say can't really spoil it. So if you want to get into it, that's totally cool because I know what happens in the books.
Yeah. So if anybody that is keeping up on our Wheel of Time stuff, if you saw it last week, Egwene was captured.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the episode where she goes through the breaking process.
Yes, they do that in the books.
Yeah, and it was so well acted by her, like incredibly well acted. And it focused a lot on her. And then you also get the Nynaeve and Esmeralda, whoever. What's her name?
Elaine.
Sure. Yeah, them.
Elaine
Get some more of their story, and apparently it actually explains some things that are not explained in the book that happen like off page. In this episode, regarding the Aes Sedai they find at the end of the last episode, the yellow robe who then gets captured, and her warder. Mm-hmm. So you get some stuff that's not explained in the books in this episode, which is really good. And you get a lot of Rand exposition and Matt and a little bit of
Min.
Nope, Moraine.
Okay.
And where she's going now, and you bring in the head, the Amyrlin Queen, sure,
Swan.
Yeah, whoever the boss is.
The Amyrlin seat, yes.
Yeah, you get that coming in, but nothing else with that. It's really like a little bit of Rand exposition in here, and just a lot of the Egwene story, but it's so well acted.
Alright,
And I really like those ones where they dig in and get you to actually
yeah.
feel what's going on, and they did a lot of that. Perrin's out this episode, you don't even have to worry about it.
Well, I know. I like the character, and I do. I think the casting has been on point for the characters. I really do. I really enjoy the actors and actresses that are portraying those characters. I think they're doing a great job. I think the way he's telling the story, though, is odd. He's making some very odd
Yeah,
choices, and you know,
and you
uh,
gotta assume they're not gonna get 16 seasons.
oh, they're definitely not
So
gonna.
how can they get stuff explained and wrapped in the right way?
Yes, and look, the books, they're 1,000-page books. I said it before. There's a lot of stuff in there that you cannot put in a TV show, and that you would have to do this TV show for 40 seasons to get all of
Right.
the book stuff in there. I get it. It's just I took a break. I didn't even watch Billions yet this week.
Wow.
Last week.
So yeah, I would suggest you give Wheel of Time one more chance.
I will. Tomorrow is my favorite show. Wednesday, I have a hockey game. Thursday, I will watch probably Thursday or Saturday, I'll watch it.
Okay. So you have a favorite show? What's that?
Oh, I love Ahsoka,
Oh, that's
okay?
so nice for you.
I really am. Look, um, as I said, we're doing a faster show tonight than normal, so if you have not watched any Ahsoka, we're 31 minutes in, and we're gonna jump right into the Ahsoka spoilers.
And it'll be the fifth thing we spoiled this episode. So good luck to you. If you've been hanging out,
Yes.
just stick around.
Um, so this was the episode that brought back Grand Admiral Pudge. I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Lars Mikkelsen was the voice in the cartoon.
Yeah, but I don't think he's doing the same voice he did in the cartoon.
He's not, he's definitely got different inflections and tones, but it still brings me back to that same character. He's just not as measured as he was in the cartoon.
Yeah, and I
There's a clipping, there's something missing out of his voice that he was doing in the cartoon that he's not doing now. And maybe that's because when he was doing voice recordings, he's just standing there.
yeah,
Now he's
it's a
having
different way. Yeah, it's a different way of capturing the mic, and now he's got to move around the set. And
right. And so I get that. So let me ask before we get into the whole thing, let me ask you where your problems were with this, because you have noticeably been way less happy about this show than I have been.
I look,
And I'm ready for Danny to come fight you.
I will still go back to what I said multiple times last week and said in the conversation I had out and about in public this week with it. Like, look, the nostalgia hits are great,
Mhm.
and it's doing all the things it needs to do with there. I just wish there was some actual like story stuff going on. Like the story development this season has been like, here's some more questions that we're not going to answer, and here's some more questions we're not going to answer, and here's some more questions we're not going to answer, and we're going to even say to our characters, "Oh, we don't need to talk about that. We won't answer that." And just like, okay, great. And it's not really like moving forward that much, even, but
Mhm.
like, are we going to get what's been going on these last few years at this point in this show? I don't feel like we are. There's 2 episodes left.
Um,
And that's a lot. I need a lot of Ahsoka Sabine backstory. I need to know what broke Ahsoka so bad that she got to the point she was at the start of this. I need to know, what's Thrawn been doing for 15 years there, or however long it's been now. What Esther's been doing, and it's you get him back, and he's just like, "Hey, girl," and
yeah.
like, and like,
Look, by no means was this a perfect episode, okay? The Night Sisters was great because now you're seeing the origin of where they came from, right? That's the planet they apparently came from.
yeah. Look, and I am a big fan of the Night Sisters and all that stuff.
And they
If
look
I'm an average Star Wars fan, no idea who they are.
right. Now they looked great. I mean, the costumes and all, all the cinematography and the costumes were phenomenal in this.
Yeah,
They're great.
yeah, it was well shot.
The way the Camaro looked coming up was so well, and the repairs on it and the stormtroopers. Let me start with the stormtroopers. They're zombies.
Yeah, you think they're all
I think
the
that's a
Night
zombie
Sister
clone.
zombies?
I think that's not clones. I think that's 90% zombies that the Night Sisters reanimated for him.
Well, the
Now,
clones would all be dead by now.
correct.
But did he didn't have a clone army. He had
No,
stormtroopers.
he had stormtroopers, which I think so that leads me over to Ezra for a second. His chainmail are stormtrooper dog tags. That's what his chainmail. That's what's the silver under his thing.
Okay.
They're all stormtrooper dog tags. So that's all the stormtroopers he's killed. That so back to the stormtroopers. They're all zombies, and and I was reading, and there's a history of zombie stormtroopers and whatever in Star Wars, because every franchise has zombies in some way, shape, or form, except Battlestar Galactica.
And you're not out?
Huh? Not out.
Well, look, we had zombie guys Balthar for a while, so it's fine.
Yeah, Cylon. But anyway, Enoch is Enoch. That is a wholly new character created for this show.
Yeah.
It's not Star Killer. It's not anything other than what it is. And you know me, and I like to go down the road of.
I do. I do,
This
but they already ruined that once for you this episode with Marrakesh or Marquis or whatever his name was.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I love the reintroduction of Thrawn. I really did. I thought it was great. Could have done keto before the role, maybe a little bit, kind of getting Thrawn shape.
To come across as this chiss that is this
Right.
you lose, and I don't know if you've read the Thrawn books.
I did.
Not the old ones, the new ones.
Mm-mm.
So the new ones set him up as like this is the perfect warrior. And
Right.
it's not just mentally, he physically is a
Right.
warrior as well. I get that he's been lounging, eating all the grapes and
He's
drinking all the wine.
that Night Sisters have been creating food and water for him, or maybe Ezra was the way he looks.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of those scenes, and I like where the story's going. The only problem I had with the episode was the 15 minutes or so we spent with Sabine and the dog wolf horse thing that we didn't need. Could have done that really. You could have shortened that a little bit and given us a little bit of more something else. The fight she had with the red guys was cool.
You mean the one that Ezra should have showed up at the end and saved her, and then that cuts out those 15 minutes that you didn't want to see? That'd have been great.
Ahsoka is doing what every Star Wars series has now taken on to do, and that's introducing a cute new species for us to fall in love with.
Yeah.
And that was fine.
And I feel like, has this been a trend? Have all of the shows lost their main character in the 6th episode? Because I feel like Boba Fett didn't appear in this
that might be. We have to look that up.
I feel like that might be a thing, because we got like the Mandalorian episodes in Boba Fett, which was right around here.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
We got Mandalorian. I feel like has had a few episodes where Din didn't really appear, and you were all like Bo-Katan or somebody else, right?
Yeah. Well, Bo-Katan's going to end up being the main character in that story, but that's again topic for another time.
Maybe.
This and Balin and his chick, they're doing something completely different. There's something going on here where I don't think Thrawn is going to be the main villain. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Thrawn isn't going to be the main villain of this story. One, did you think it was cringe? And I saw a lot of people post online that thought it was cringe when the few seconds that Ahsoka was in it and she asked him to tell him a story, and he started out with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
No, that was fine.
I thought that was great. Now the meeting up of the two, the whole show is building you towards finding Ezra.
Yeah.
She sees Ezra, and they both, as you said earlier, give a little, "What's up, man? How you doing?"
I rewatched it today. I was like, it couldn't have been that bad, was it? And I rewatched it and I said, oh,
yeah.
God damn it, it was.
Yeah.
It was that. It was like, hey, what's been going on? How's everything? Nah, we'll talk about it later. We got to pack up these little guys' village and move. Like, what?
That that was like that was like the air coming out of the balloon at that point because you're building this up, building this up, building this up, and it was more like a like I get their banter from Rebels. It was kind of there, but it was still like you were so close to this guy as a friend that
As a
he's
brother, right? Like, you know.
like a brother, and you finally see him after what, 15 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and all you can do is go, "Hey."
Yeah. It was the craziest thing. I
I
was I
that
was so disappointed.
I I give Filoni high fives all the time, and that was a flub.
Like, Ezra should have come back, like, as this crazy badass because we got him as, like, never sure of himself, right? Like,
Well,
never fully baked as a Jedi, and then, like, we get him in this, and it's like, "Hey, I'm the super cool guy now.
so
Look at my beard and my long
there's
hair."
there's a couple things with that, though. Star Wars is very, very specific with colors. We know this.
Yes.
He's wearing red. Red in Star Wars is evil. Always has been.
Yeah.
I I can't see him being completely evil because he's helping this little
Well, but
villain.
he wore orange and, like, burnt orange in Rebels.
Right.
So this isn't that far off from what he wore in Rebels.
And I you know,
Because
something
it's not like bright red he's wearing. He's
no,
wearing like
it's
dark red,
right. Now something else got pointed out.
soaked in the blood of stormtroopers, Frank.
Could be. Yeah. Um, Balin on his belt is wearing what looks to be a green kyber crystal, which people are suspecting could be his original kyber crystal from his lightsaber.
Yeah, and we're saying it's not he didn't bleed his.
No. Now, I'm trying not to jump all over the place, but I am.
Yeah.
Thrawn in the canonical world
Yeah.
has met Anakin Skywalker in the past. Or did he meet Darth Vader? No.
He came in during the Empire days, so he would not have met Anakin.
So he met Darth Vader. So that whole thing, I'm interested to see how they catch Thrawn up to what's been going on and how they catch Ezra up to what's been going on. Like
I don't think they will. Given how this show's been going, I think they skip it all, which is gonna piss me off.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Because, like, I wanna know what like you said, like, what's their take on how it
Right,
on what happened? I
right.
don't think we'll get that on this show because the look, Filoni is a George disciple, right? Even though George never took him as a disciple, whatever, you've seen the
Yes,
articles for it.
yes.
Um, George is not a great writer, and I think there's a lot of those components that in this format aren't working for Filoni either. It's in a 22-minute series like in Rebels or a Clone Wars, right?
Yeah,
You have 40, 50 episodes to tell these stories, 100 episodes, right?
right. You're
Like
condensing it down to
now trying to condense that, make meaningful conversation and move the story in a timely manner seems to really be a struggle on these shows.
it does, and while I still think this is one of my favorite Star Wars series, it does plod along a little bit in parts that it doesn't. Now, there's something Balin made this comment about something was calling to him. Okay?
Yeah.
While we wrap this up, here's 7 theories about what is calling to Balin, because
Okay.
that's what supposedly is gonna be the big villain. Okay? Where? Let me go back down here. Number 7, the Aboleth.
Okay.
That's a Legends thing.
Those are from the Heir to the Empire stuff, right? Like Thrawn came back to fight the
Uh,
right, I believe.
yeah, it's a powerful dark side entity known as the Bringer of Chaos. In Legends, Aboleth was a servant of the Mortis gods who ultimately took the role of mother, helping maintain the balance of the Force. So there's also rumors saying now that Anakin has taken the place of the father.
Okay.
Uh,
But
Star
when do we
Wars,
get Luke?
huh? Yeah,
So,
well,
so when do we get Luke in his Jedi Academy?
Star Wars could be introducing a creature called a Malmoral.
Oh,
That is something that has to do with Clone Wars Star Wars Clone Wars Season 6 tied them to the Legends of Demons called the Malmora. Two-part
Oh, when they used to
adventure.
go into all those crazy temples and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Star Wars could bring back a powerful member of the Zepho. That
Okay.
was from the Cal Kestis game. By the way, we are getting a Jedi Fallen Order 3. That was
Oh, very cool. I
Yeah.
should finish 2 at some point.
great game.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's a lot of time to be
So
awake.
they people translated the runes of the temple. Of course they do, you know?
Yeah.
It says, "Praise Kujet, ruler of all, may his reign last for all time." Kujet is Zepho Sith from Fallen Order.
Okay.
That would be cool. Okay. It could be Ahsoka. Could Ahsoka be introducing the canon Yuzan Vong? They were the main enemies in the celebrated New Jedi Order range of books, initially believed to be extragalactic in nature.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with most of what we're going
Could it?
what you're covering.
There's only a couple more before we're done. Could it be the Bendu? No. It could be a Knights of the Old Republic reference. And the number one is the real villain that could have been sensed by Palpatine years earlier. Is what's out here.
Maybe. Look, I the show has not gotten me a point where I trust them to give us any answers or finish this story. Because I
Well,
feel like it's all just setting up more stories and trying to get people to come back and watch the next season when they finally tell you all the things that they've left hanging so far.
you also have to remember that Filoni is going to do a movie to wrap this up. So
Yeah, which is going to be
what we get in episode 8 is going to be a fucking cliffhanger to hold us over to the movie that's not going to come out for at least 2 years at this point.
but there's a Mando season 4 in between there.
Right.
And
That's worth having.
let's also not forget that a movie, right, is less budget than one of these seasons and a quarter of the story length. So like movie's great, but like maybe it's a third of the story length, right? Maybe it's third of the runtime. But like still, even if it's a 2.5 hour movie, it's only 3 episodes of the show. So why don't you pack that much info into 3 episodes of the show and make a trilogy of movies in a 9 episode series? And wow, look at that. It's great.
Let's apply to Lucasfilm.
Like we're going to have as much runtime on Ahsoka as we did in the original trilogy. Like, come on. And be like nowhere at the end of it. Right? Think about that for a second. And like,
Look,
pacing.
I understand.
It's killing me.
Look, just be glad that they didn't wait until episode 8, hour minute 46 to introduce Thrawn and Ezra back.
We'll see if it matters.
That's true. Okay. I loved it. I know you were a little less than
I
lovely.
know. You still seem a little judgy on it, even though you loved it.
I can like stuff and be judgy about it. I'm still enjoying it a hell of a
Yeah.
lot more than I'm enjoying other stuff.
Look, I've said there are a lot of components that I enjoy. I've never said that there
Fair
aren't
enough.
parts that I do like. I wish the story was there to match the nostalgia and the references.
I can see that and understand that.
Yeah. But hey, thanks for tuning in on Eagles Monday Night Football, everybody. We're gonna cut a little short, so Frank can go watch the game, and I can go watch my wife watch the game, and hopefully, fingers crossed for our fantasy odds as the night continues with the 2 Monday night games. Make sure you drop us a rating, tell a friend, and come back and find the Geek Spot with us next week.
Thanks, everybody.